Hey guys, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews, and today I'm actually going to explain why I left GameStop, because I've had a lot of people assume. I've had some people tell me, oh, you sound like a bitter, angry employee that was fired. Not, actually. So you'll find out in the story. So, as I've said before, I was a manager there. I worked there for 5 years. When I got that job at GameStop, I thought it was going to be the coolest job I would ever have. I enjoyed the job for most of my time there, and I only shopped at GameStop for games the entire time I worked there. I was Mr. GameStop. But, after you leave, you start to realize a lot of the flaws and stuff in what they do. So, when I was working there, we went to what was called a Store Manager 2 store. So one day, my district manager comes in. He pulls my boss, which was my store manager at the time, who I was good friends with. Me and him still talk to this day a lot. He pulls him over to the food court, and he's over at the Dippin' Dots place. They're sitting at a table over there just chatting. And normally they're not over there as long as what they were. I mean, it was 2 hours. So all of a sudden he comes back in, and he goes, make sure you get some good numbers tonight, yada, yada, yada. Him and the district manager leave together. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And the next day he comes in and he cancels every pre-order on me, and the district manager shows up, and he's like, oh, well, we let him go. I tried to make sure I could get him a job. I offered him to step down, but we're moving your store to what's called a Store Manager 2 store, which I had no idea what that meant at that time. So instead of having a dedicated store manager, a store manager who ran a much busier store was going to be at his busy store for 3 days out of the week, and at my store for 2 days out of the week. So I wound up taking on a whole bigger list of responsibilities with no extra pay. I was doing the store manager's job essentially at this point, and I started to become very unhappy. And a lot of it was just how much I had to do and was expected to accomplish and expected to perform on the level of a store manager, but without receiving the compensation of a store manager or even really the hopes of becoming one. So I decided that I was unhappy enough to the point where I was going to look for a new job. And at this time, I had W as my manager. For those of you who haven't seen my Worst GameStop Managers video, it will be the featured video at the end of this video. So stick around. You can watch it. You'll understand who W is. And I contacted my store manager at the Let Go, and his name was Mike. And, we were just talking, and I was like, I'm super unhappy with how this is going. And he used to work for W too, and he wasn't a big W fan either. So he decided that he was going to try to put in a word for me where he works, which instantly I interviewed. They offered me a job right off the bat, making more money, taking me right in as a manager, all this good stuff. And so I decided I was going to step down at GameStop and I was going to take this job. So I stepped down. We got a store manager who they wound up moving to another store. They gave him a store that they just freshly opened. And then I wound up, so I'm just working part-time too at this point, 1 to 2 days a month. Most midnights I would work and stuff along those lines. So then I decided, because I went on my honeymoon and I came back, and that's when I first met Butterball, and he did what he did. So I switched to the store outside of the mall, which I worked at for a while with one store manager who was about to leave on maternity leave, and she was pretty much checked out already. And she was having me do inventory counts, and I'm not even a manager anymore, and I'm over here doing manager jobs because she didn't feel well because she was pregnant, which is whatever. But if corporate ever found out I was doing those at that level, they would have flipped. And at one point, I had keys to her store and my store because she was sick for 2 months before her pregnancy. So this is a store I was very acquainted with, so to speak. So I was at this store. Then she left on maternity leave. They brought in a new store manager. Her name was Ashley. She was one of the better store managers in the district, and she's actually currently now an area manager in this district. And I still talk to her. She still chats with me when she sees me come in. She's asked if I've wanted to come back numerous times. She's asked and offered for me to come back as a manager, asked if I wanted to come back just for seasonal, all these different things. she and I got along pretty well. She liked having me work midnights, and wasn't killing her payroll or anything having me there. And then she got moved to another mall because that mall needed help because of some stuff going on at it. And when she left, I was working for Steph. And mind you, so at this time, like when it was Christmas season, I would work at my job now on Thanksgiving because we used to open on Thanksgiving. Then I would have to leave. I'd have like a 2-hour window where I'd have to get to GameStop. Then I would leave GameStop at like 4 a.m., get home, get to nap for a little bit. Then I'd have to be back in at my other job by 1 to 9:30 so I could close the store. So, I mean, the holidays were always really chaotic working 2 retail jobs, and that's kind of why I didn't do it this year and I mean, I don't really need the money as much as what I used to, so it was, especially just like a day a week here and there, it wasn't really doing a lot for me. I mostly did it to keep the discount, but then they brought in this new manager, so I had this new manager who replaced Ashley, and she goes, well, can you work anything other than midnights throughout the year? And I was like, not really. I was like, I'm a full-time manager over at this store. And I was like, I'm not sacrificing that or making myself too tired to do my job. I was like, I like doing the midnights. I like helping out. I'm very loud. I know how to run a midnight. I'm able to control the line. So a lot of store managers find me to be very valuable because I can manage a line and I know how everything's supposed to work, and I'm okay with talking to customers because I'm a manager. I'm used to handling difficult situations. But she was like, well, if you can't do anything more in the midnights for me, I'm going to have to let you go. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I guess this is where we part ways as a company. I was like, it's sad that 5 years is down the drain with one company, but to that same extent, I moved on to a bigger and better thing for a reason. I'm not going to stick around at a company just because they want me to work more, especially when it's most of their employees only work 1 day a week. That's it. I'm just there to work midnights. That was it at that time. That's all I wanted to work, was midnight releases. I had a lot of fun with those. I enjoyed them. It didn't interfere with my schedule because I closed. There was nothing that I could have worked with my current work schedule and their schedule that they schedule their employees. So it was time to part and go our separate ways. None of it was bad blood. I mean, I still get asked if I want to come back, as I've stated. I don't have the desire to go back and be put into the situations that I was put into, which, and granted, I wouldn't be coming back as a manager, and most of the problems that I had to deal with were as a manager. I mean, when you're doing the store manager's position and your position, it gets a little difficult and a little overwhelming, especially when there's no form of pay increase. It's really, really depressing. Especially when you have to do an entire store reset, which is where you have to move all the shelves and everything and where it's displayed on the walls while you don't have a store manager. That can be a little difficult, especially because you don't have a lot of payroll. It's not like they gave me a lot of payroll to balance that. They gave me 8 extra hours. That was it. That was all. I got 8 hours and lost a manager 3 days of the week. Thanks, GameStop. That's a great way to run your company. But I'm not the boss. It's not my decision to make. They scrapped that program. It doesn't exist at any store. It did terribly. The stores that did run through it suffered with both stores. So it's not something they do anymore. Thank God. But that was why I left. That was the biggest part of it. And don't get me wrong, there were parts about working at GameStop I loved. I don't shop there anymore. And when I do, it's very rare. It's normally because I have some stuff to trade and they're offering a decent trade promotion. It's just not my choice of place to shop when I can get my stuff cheaper at Best Buy. So, and guys, thanks for watching too. If you didn't know this, you can go over to teespring.com and type in Backpocket Game Reviews. I am selling 2 different shirts, both of which all of the proceeds for will go to Toys for Tots. So if you want to help contribute and you want to help make some kids' Christmas a little bit better, feel free to chip in. We can do this as a community. We can really drive this. The gray shirt, I believe, is available for 10 more days, I think is what it is. I'm pretty sure it's 10. And then the Christmas shirt is available for 16 more days, I do believe. Both of them have been to the point of where they will be ordered now. So if you buy one, you're buying one. It's not a, this may hit its goal. they're capable of being ordered now fully. They both had enough pre-orders on them that my orders will be fulfilled, which is very exciting. This is the first time I've had a successful shirt campaign. I bought 2 myself, both of which are the gray one. I may still buy a Christmas one, just because I really like Christmas stuff, and now that I don't work in a mall, I enjoy Christmas again, and my kids love Christmas. So, but I'd really like to see this be something that's powerful enough that we're able to really make an impact. So far, we are doing very good, and we've definitely raised a decent chunk of money, which hopefully, if I can get it to where it's enough to where we could really change one family's Christmas or one kid's Christmas, I would love to contact Toys for Tots and see if I could just get like a certain person I could donate to, but we'll find out how that all goes. But guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up, because those thumbs up really help my video go viral if they want to. And I would like to go viral. I would like to be getting that silver play button, which I still have a ways to go. But in time, all in due time. If you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, you can drop that in the comments down below as well. And I'll have some more videos going up for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because I like you being here. I like this community. I want this community to grow. I want it to feel like a happy, personal place where I can interact with all of you. But we'll see you guys soon, and I'll have plenty more coming up for you soon. So.